Hello dear students, welcome back to Learn Physics. In today's video, we are going to discuss about moving charges and magnetism. In this chapter, already theory portions are over. As I said you, I'll be covering some 1 mark, 2 mark questions in this video. Okay, and after many days we are meeting again because I was a bit busy with my schoolwork. And I hope you will be giving the same support, and I'm reading all your messages. Thank you so much for the support. And in that video, from your comments, what I understood is you are expecting some numerical part for each topic. So I thought I will give in such a manner. I'll take some small topic and respective some 1 mark, 2 mark questions and numericals we will discuss today. Okay, so in this moving charges and magnetism, the first topic which we are discussing is Oersted experiment. In Oersted experiment, see, a current carrying conductor is present and a magnet also present over there. Then while current is passing through the conductor, the magnet will be deflecting. What is the meaning of that? Because when a current carrying conductor is there, see here, this is a current carrying conductor and I am keeping a magnet over here. Okay, this is south, this is north. This is the magnet and it will be deflecting. Because a magnet near to another magnet only deflection will happen. So when current is passing through the conductor, it will act as a magnet also. It will be having some magnetic effect. So that will be the two magnets together nearby. When it is coming, it will deflect. A deflection will happen. Now, which direction deflection will be happening? Okay, if that one we can find out using with the help of Ampere's swim rule. What is this Ampere's swim rule? If a person is swimming and looking at in the direction of current flow, see the current is moving from positive to negative. This is the direction of current flow. And when he is swimming, he will be looking at the magnetic needle. Here a person is here for swimming and he is looking at the magnetic needle. Okay, and current will be passing from his south to north in such a way, that is from his feet to, this will be the position of feet and this will be the position of head. Okay, the current will be passing from his feet towards the head and he is looking at this magnetic needle. Then the north side of the magnet will be deflecting towards his left hand. Okay, when he is swimming in such a manner and looking at the magnetic needle, then his north side of the magnetic needle will be deflecting towards his left hand. Suppose if we are keeping this magnetic needle above the conductor, what will happen? He will be like this, right? As he is looking at the magnetic needle and when he is taking the backstroke, what will happen? The north side will be deflecting towards his left hand. Okay, in such a manner you should find out the rule, and snow rule is the best is the short form for that. When current is moving from south to north, then north side will be deflecting towards west. Okay, when current is moving from south to north, then north side of the magnetic needle will be deflecting towards the west side. That is snow rule. Okay, for easy remembrance you can keep this in mind. Okay, if the current is moving from north to south, what will happen? North side will be deflecting towards east. Okay, so depending on that you can find, if you know the swim rule, it is easy for you to find out the direction of deflection. When a person is swimming and the current is moving from his feet to head and he is looking at the magnetic needle and swimming, the north side of the magnetic needle will be deflecting towards his left hand. That is Ampere's swim rule. So a current carrying conductor is present in a magnetic field. It will be having a force it will deflect, right? So here current is present, magnetic field is present, and deflection is there. Deflection means a force is acting on the conductor. So these three terms are there. Okay, from this how we can find out the direction of force acting on the conductor? Okay, then direction of force can be found out with the help of Fleming's left hand rule. Fleming's left hand rule. That is a method to find out the direction of force acting on a current carrying conductor present in a magnetic field. Okay, so this is a current carrying conductor which is present in a magnetic field, a force is acting. So what will be the direction? So we know the direction of current, we know the direction of magnetic field, then we can find out the direction of force acting on the conductor using Fleming's left hand rule. Okay, what is this Fleming's left hand rule? Okay, consider the left hand. These three fingers in mutually perpendicular direction. Then this middle finger will be representing the direction of current, and the forefinger will be representing the direction of magnetic field. Then the thumb will be pointing the direction of force. Force, magnetic field, current. Okay, father, mother, child. This one many times I told in my video also. So this is how we will be finding out, or we can find out using is right hand screw rule also there. Okay, that right hand screw rule. See, force acting on a current carrying conductor present in a magnetic field. What is the formula for finding out the force acting on the conductor? F is equal to Q into V cross B. This is the force acting on the current carrying conductor present in a magnetic field. So A cross B, what will be the direction? If we are rotating the vector from A to B, then right hand screw rule, we are rotating from A to B, the tip of the screw in which direction it is moving, that will be the direction of the product. Okay, so A V cross B, while we are considering, when we are rotating the screw from V to B, then the tip of the screw in which direction it is moving, that will be representing the direction of force acting on the conductor. Okay, that is right hand rule. Okay, Fleming's left hand rule or right hand screw rule is used to find out the direction of force acting on a current carrying conductor present in a magnetic field. Okay, now next, how we can find out the magnetic field or magnetic field intensity? How we can find out the magnetic flux density? Okay, here for that we will be using Biot-Savart law. Biot-Savart law. What is this law? Say a current carrying conductor is present here. In that I am considering a small current element having length dl. I is the current flowing through the conductor. In that I am considering a small current element which is having length dl. Here I am considering a point P at a distance r from the current element dl. At a distance r, I am considering a point P. This dl and r are P, this distance are making an angle theta. Then magnetic field at the point P due to the current element dl is proportional to the current. It is proportional to the component of dl. dl sin theta divided by and inversely proportional to square of the distance. Okay, so dl, this is dl, in this we are considering dl sin theta. Okay, so dB is equal to, it's a vector quantity, dB is equal to mu 0 by 4 pi, that is a constant, into I dl sin theta divided by r square. Okay, so this is, what is mu 0? Mu 0 is the permeability of free space, 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7. Mu 0 value is 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7. Okay, then how we can find out the value, how we can represent this in vector form? dB equals mu 0 by 4 pi into I is not a vector quantity but dl is a vector quantity. Here r is a vector quantity, right? So I can write it as dl cross r. What is the meaning? What is dl cross r? R into dl into dl sine theta divided by, I am multiplying one more r over here because we are multiplying a vector r in the numerator. So dB equals mu 0 by 4 pi into I dl cross r by r cube. This is Biot-Savart law. This law we are using to find out the magnetic field at a point which is at a distance r from the current element. Okay, if we are considering a small current element having length dl, then the magnetic field at a particular point P, which is at a distance r from the current element, is dB equals mu 0 by 4 pi into I into dl cross r by r cube. Okay, clear? So next we found out derived an equation for magnetic field at a point due to a current carrying circular coil. There we considered a circular coil, and using this Biot-Savart law only we found out we considered a circular coil having radius a, and we are considering a point P which is at a distance x. Okay, then how we can find out the magnetic field? dB will be equal to, or total magnetic flux B will be equal to mu 0 by 4 pi into 2 pi Ni a square divided by a square plus x square the whole power 3 by 2. This was the formula which we got it for. See here, this and all explanation already given. dB, I is the current flowing through that dB, and here this distance is r, and we will be representing, then dB will be acting in this direction, and here dB cos theta, and this is dB cos theta. Because of this, again it will be getting cancelled, and only dB sin theta will be existing. Okay, because of that, while doing in such a manner, we will be getting into this equation mu 0 by 4 pi into 2 pi Ni a square divided by a square plus x square the whole power 3 by 2. Okay, this formula is also important. So depending on these topics, I am going to revise some of the questions. Okay. So here first question is, how will the magnetic field strength at the center of the circular coil carrying current change if the current through the coil is doubled and the radius of the coil is halved? Okay. Magnetic field strength of at the center of the circular coil carrying current change. The current through the coil is doubled and the radius of the coil is halved. What will happen? So at the center of the coil, now we discussed about the current carrying coil which is present having distance x from the center, right? P. Okay, what was the magnetic field? B will be equal to mu 0 by 4 pi into 2 pi Ni a square divided by a square plus x square the whole power 3 by 2. See, if this point P is at the center, what will happen to this x? X will become 0, right? At the center of the coil, at the center x is equal to 0. Therefore, a square the whole power 3 by 2 will come. It will be a cube. A cube and a square will get cancelled. You will get it as mu 0 by 4 pi into 2 pi Ni a square divided by a cube. So here we will get it as mu 0 by 4 pi into 2 pi Ni by a. Now, in this equation, we should apply if the current through the coil is doubled. Okay, so what will happen if the current is doubled? I dash equals to I, and radius of the coil is halved. So the radius is halved. A equals a by 2. How this will be changing? B dash equals mu 0 by 4 pi into 2 pi n into 2i divided by a by 2. So 2 will be going in the numerator. So mu 0 by 4 pi 2 pi Ni divided by A into 4. So we are getting it as 4 into mu 0 by 4 pi 2 pi Ni by A. What is this value? This is B, right, at the center. So 4 times the magnetic field. Like this you should find out. Okay. So for finding out these answers, you should remember the formulas. Exactly the correct formula you should remember. Okay. So the next question is, write the relation for the force F acting on a charged carrier Q moving with a velocity V through a magnetic field B in vector notation. Using this relation, deduce the condition under which the force will be maximum and minimum. Yes, what is a current carrying conductor Q having charge Q, V is the velocity, B is the magnetic field. What is the force? F is equal to Q into V cross B. This is the force, right? If we are considering F is equal to Q into V cross B, that is Q. It's a vector quantity, QVB sin theta. When force will be maximum? F maximum will be when theta sin theta equals 1. Sin theta equals 1 means theta equals 90 degree. That is when V and B are perpendicular to each other. Then we will be getting maximum value. And F minimum. When it will be minimum? When theta equals 0 degree. Okay, we will be getting the minimum force when theta equals 0 degree. Clear? Now, next question, one more question we will discuss. A circular coil of N turns and diameter D carries a current I. Circular coil having N turns and diameter D carries a current I. It is unwound and rewound to make another coil of diameter 2D and current I remaining the same. Calculate the ratio of magnetic moments of the new coil and the original coil. Here we need to know what is magnetic moment. What is magnetic moment? Magnetic moment of circular coil is M equals NIA. Okay, M equals NIA. Magnetic moment M equals NIA. This is the formula. Okay, here it's given as A is number of turns N, a circular coil of N number of turns and diameter D. Carry N is the number of turns, diameter D, I is the current. It is unwound and rewound to make another coil of diameter 2D and current is remaining the same. What is the ratio of magnetic moments? So first one, when we are considering, M1 will be equal to M1 will be equal to N into I into pi. What is the formula for a circular coil? Pi A square, right? Pi R square or pi D by 2 the whole square. Now here N is the number of turns. Initially let N1 be the number of turns, then we can here give this also as N1, and in the second case the number of turns will change because diameter we are increasing to 2D, right? So number of turns will be changing, N2. So what will be the magnetic moment? M2 will be equal to N2 into I into pi 2D divided by 2 the whole square. So how we will be getting D square. So what is the ratio? M1 by M2 is equal to N1 into D square by 4 into divided by N2 into I and pi will get cancelled, D square. Now here we are getting it as N1 by N2, N1 by N2 into 4. Now if the diameter is doubled, how this number of turns will be changing? Yes, N1 will be equal to half or N2 will be equal to half of N1 because number of turns will be decreasing. If the diameter is increasing, number of turns will be decreasing. So here number of turns is n1 by n1, and then here number of turns will be n1 divided by 2. So we can substitute that value over here, n1 divided by n1 by 2, 4. Okay, so n1 will get cancelled. So m1 is to m2 is equal to 1 is to 2. Okay, this is the formula to find. This is the ratio between. So I am not sure whether you are able to view this here in the last portion. So I'll write down everything over here once more. Till here it is visible for you, right? So here m1 by m2 is equal to m1 by m2 equals n1 divided by, instead of n2 I can write it as n1 by 2 into 4. So n1 will get cancelled, 1 by 2. So m1 is to m2 is 1 is to 2. Okay, this is the ratio. Clear, children? So if you require more numericals based on this, you can just message me in the comment box. Then in the coming videos I'll include that also. I think this portion is clear for you, and in the next video we will be coming with the new topic. Okay, so actually I thought of doing a deleted portions for this year. I thought of doing that, but everything at a stretch, if I am telling, maybe you won't be remembering. In this chapter, cyclotron is the portion which is deleted from for this year. This year alone they deleted cyclotron. So no need to study the cyclotron portion for this year, students. Okay, children. So see you in the next video. Thank you.